The Dolphins flogged Melbourne, and the Broncos lost in Golden Point, and there wasn't even a tackle made. I feel like I'm approaching a week where I'm going to get 1 out of 8. G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My voice is very sore from the Parramatta Eels game against the Tigers the other day. Go and check out that vlog. But today we're going to be speaking about my NRL round number 8 tips. And just like a few weeks ago, Mum's got a new phone. So at the moment, I'm not reading off a phone. Haven't got a phone in front of me. But let's get straight into it. The first game is at Suncorp tomorrow night. It is the Brisbane Broncos hosting the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. The undefeated Bulldogs keeping another team to nil, this time being the South Sydney Rabbitohs. They are looking like a genuine premiership contender. Their defence looks really solid. And again, like I've said all year, they have a couple of X-factor players, but there's players just standing up and filling in positions. And anyone who puts on that jersey is just doing a great job, especially Bailey Hayward. He's got some credit. He dropped out of the starting side, moved to the bench, but I really like what I've seen from Bailey Hayward over at the Bulldogs. But big loss for the Broncos. Obviously, back-to-back losses. Golden Point loss without even a tackle made last week. Reece Walsh turning from the villain to the hero. And Reece Walsh is now out for an extended period of time. That brings Selwyn Cobbo back to fullback and Dean Mariner return via the wings. So, you know, you've got Carrigan, you've got Haas, you've got Reynolds, lots of experienced players in this Broncos team. And the Dogs are definitely due to lose a game soon. But for this game here, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. I really like what I've seen from them. I know that they went up to Brisbane last year and they beat them quite well. I think they do it again, but not a massive margin here. I do think that the Broncos can find themselves in front at some point in this game. I don't think the Dogs will lead from start to finish. This will be a bit of a contest. I am going to go the Bulldogs to win by 6 points. I'm going to go the Bulldogs to win 18 points to 12 in this game. And as for my first try scorer, I'm going to go with Jacob Preston. He's in really good form. So Jacob Preston to score the first try and the Dogs to win it by 6. Next up is the annual Anzac Day clash at Allianz between the Sydney Roosters and the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Now, bit of a last minute decision, but I'll actually be at this game with M. So really looking forward to attending it. It's such a spectacle. If you can get down, I know tickets are very expensive for this game, but if you can get down, it is worth it. What you get to see pre-game, get there early. It is a great day out. Now, as for the Roosters, Billy Smith returning from suspension and Angus Crichton coming back in. And right now, I feel like Google just processing all this information. I'm not sure who comes onto the bench for the Sydney Roosters or who drops out, but I know that Dom Young is also out. With the injury to Matt Feeney for the Dragons last week at Brookvale, it brings Sione Fainu into the starting side. And Emre Gula is also back from suspension. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there for this game. The Roosters, they were beaten convincingly by Penrith. They were in it in the first half. Look, there was a controversial call for mine, and Dylan Edwards definitely should have gone to the sin bin in that game, but they're not up to scratch, the Roosters. I'm really worried about them. And you know what? I'm going to tip the Dragons here. And I said it in my bold predictions that the Dragons will win by 8 or more points. And I was going to go a 13-pluser, but I'll give the opposition of the Roosters the respect at home. I'm going to go Dragons by 8 points. I think this one will have a bit of points in it, to be honest. The Dragons have leaked a few points, even though they've been getting some wins. I'm going to go Dragons 26, Roosters 18. Dragons win by 8 points. And as for the first try scorer for this game, I'm going to go with Moses Sully to cross over and get the first try in the Anzac game. Next up, the New Zealand Warriors on Anzac Day are hosting the Newcastle Knights. I think last year they hosted the Gold Coast Titans, if I'm not mistaken. This year, it's the Newcastle Knights. We get 3 games of footy. Oh, I forgot. I thought it was always 2, but yeah, I think there was 3 last year as well. But yeah, it's going to be a big game. The Newcastle Knights' form has been pretty poor, to be honest. And look, they had a better performance against the Sharks towards the end there, but it's still not that great for mine. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be a hostile crowd. probably a sold-out crowd over there in New Zealand, and they're coming off a great win against a quality side like the Brisbane Broncos with big-name players. Look, as for Newcastle, from what I saw, there is a big return, which is Dylan Lucas, and I believe Ali Liatawa, Rocco Berry might be in the centres because Charles Nickel-Klokstad is back and Kurt Capewell moves to the second row after playing at centre last week. So, yeah, I want to get a response out of Newcastle. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Newcastle shock and get a win here. But I'm going to say that they get smashed. Their attack has been really, really poor. And I think the Warriors are really starting to click lately. And they have these periods where they zone in and out. And they do that against good teams. So I think the Warriors puts points on here. I'm going to go the Warriors by 26 points. I'm going to go Warriors to win 32 points to 6 in this game. I don't know where the lone try is going to come from Newcastle, but I think that the New Zealand Warriors are going to put on a show. And I'm going to go with Tane Tuapiki to score the first try of this game. Warriors 13+. And the final game of Anzac Day at 8 o'clock from Amy Park is the Melbourne Storm and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, the Rabbitohs lost to the Bulldogs last week. They scored 0, and Wayne Bennett will have a rocket up his side. The Storm, oh my God, 16-2 lead and a, 40 to 22, something like that, loss against the Dolphins. It reminded me of the Dolphins against the Eels last year in Darwin. You just didn't expect that turnaround, but my God, you had Josh Kerr in his milestone, scored a great try. You had Isaiah Katoa playing amazing football. So unexpected. As for this game, you know what happens when Melbourne come off a loss? They flog their opposition. And I'm going to go Melbourne Storm by 20 points here. Although I like what I've seen from the Rabbitohs this year, there are some signs of weakness. And the Storm are still a very good side. I know they'll be missing Harry Grant for a while, but I still think they can win this game and win it well at home with a response. I think their defense needs work, though. I think their forward pack is great, but they need to do more in defense. But I'm going to say that they win this game 36 points to 16. It's going to be a high-scoring one. Melbourne Storm to win. And first try scorer for this game, I'm actually going to go with Eli Katoa to score the first try this one. Next up from North Queensland is the Cowboys, who are coming off the bye hosting the Gold Coast Titans, who had a great early lead against the Raiders but let it slip away and ended up losing the game by 10 points. Now, as for this game, I know that Khan Pereira returns to the wing. I know that there is another player back, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. As for the Cowboys, they've started the year pretty poor, but they've started to turn it around recently with wins over Penrith and, you know, getting the job done in some of their games. And look, this is a tough game to pick because last time these sides met, it was the Titans who got the upset. The Titans always turn up against the Cowboys, but the Titans just haven't looked the best for mine. I know they had a great start at home last week. I don't know what actually led to that happening, but I don't think they looked that great. You know, I think they had a great win against the Roosters, but I'm worried about the Titans this year. I thought they'd finish a bit higher than where they obviously are at the moment. They're dropping like the Knights very quickly, but I'll give them a bit of respect because I think they can put up some points. I will go with the Cowboys to win this game, but I will go 1-12. So I'm going to go the Cowboys to win 24 points to 14. I thought about a very low scoring one. I thought about a 20-10, but I just don't see the Titans scoring under 10 points. So for that reason, I'm going to go with 24-14 and first try scorer for this game. I'm going to go with Scott Drinkwater to get the first try for the North Queensland Cowboys at home. Next up, it is the Penrith Panthers hosting the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, Manly have a massive boost this week with Tom Trbojevic back in the side. Toff Sipley is suspended. I haven't had a good look at who comes in for him. And as for the Panthers, Isaac Tungo comes back into the starting side after being named on the bench last week. Jack Cole still amongst the reserves, so I've gotten him out of my super coach because he doesn't look like coming back. Now, the Panthers, a great win. They looked good last week. Now, I'm guessing Luke Summerton, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm assuming Luke Summerton comes in for Mitch Kenny because Mitch Kenny is suspended. And that spine was structured sort of like the Eels. When their attack was on, they were brilliant and they were working things out. They took their time, but when they had the ball, they looked really good, the Penrith Panthers. And look, they can turn this season around if they can play football like that. But again, it was only the Roosters, which is an opposition team that right now just don't look that great. As for this game, I thought about going Penrith 1-12. I thought about a Manly upset. Tom Trbojevic, big inclusion. I like what I saw of Penrith. I haven't tipped Penrith in a while. I'm going to tip Penrith to win this game. I think Penrith win 13 plus, if I'm honest with you. I think people expect this game to be close because Tom's back. But I think Manly have become so vulnerable, and 3 straight losses is so unexpected to this Manly side. I think they have issues that they haven't addressed within the club right now. So I'm going to go with the Penrith Panthers to win 26 points to 10. I think there's some holes in that Manly defense, and Penrith will crack them. And first try scorer for this game will be Isaac Tungo. This game will be low scoring, as I've said, 26-10 than expected, and Manly once again blown out. So this is going to be a cracking game down in Canberra on Saturday night. It is the Raiders taking on the Dolphins. The Dolphins coming to Canberra, GIO Stadium, to take on. And when these sides have played, I think it's been a 1-point encounter and a 6-point encounter. So they've been very good, exciting games. And the Dolphins have hit a bit of form lately, but man, they're not in as much form as the Canberra Raiders. Their form has been incredible. You know, they scored 50 points against the Eels the other week. They came back from behind to beat teams, something the Raiders haven't done in a while. And Hudson Young's form, Corey Horsburgh's form, Sebastian Chris' form. There are so many players within this team who absolutely stepped it up, and they dead set look like a top 4 team. Very early call to say that. I don't know if it will happen, but they look good. They are at home. They're going to be tough to beat. They play a Dolphins side who has beaten the Storm and the Penrith Panthers. They're going to take a hell of a lot of confidence out of that. I worry about the consistency of the Dolphins, especially on the road, but I do like what I've seen. Who am I going to tip here? This is a tough game, but I'm actually going to go the Dolphins. It's a massive upset. I've had this feeling for a while. I've gone against my gut with upsets for the most part. And for this game, I think the Dolphins can win it. It's going to be a high-scoring affair for mine. I'm going to go with the Dolphins to win 24-22 and get a massive scalp, beating the Raiders down there in Canberra. And you know what? Just for a bit of value, first try scorer will be Corey Horsburgh. He has been in some unbelievable form. And we finish off the round with Lachlan Galvin returning for the West Tigers. Boy, that didn't last long, did it? I'm assuming Adam Dewey comes into the centres, but again, I haven't had a proper look at the side. I'm assuming Galvin in the 6, Jerome Luai in the 7. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I did see that Galvin comes back in. And then as for Cronulla, they leaked a lot of points against the Newcastle Knights, who have had poor attack this year, but they're such a weird team to get a read on. And I feel like this game will be a contest, and I almost think this game could be like a 4-point game decided, but I don't know. The Tigers, they lost by 16 points last week against 11 men on the field. And that for me is absolutely crazy. I think that the Leichhardt crowd is going to get behind them. I think they're going to get a big crowd. Are they going to win this game? There is part of me that thinks that the Tigers could get an upset, because the Sharks are, at the moment, pretenders for mine. They still had a good win against Newcastle. I'm going to go the Sharks 13 plus. I think they can do it. I'm going to go the Sharks to win by 16 points. I'm going to go the Sharks to win 26 points. Actually, I'm going to go the Sharks by 14 points. They're just going to nip a 13 plus victory. Sharks 30, Tigers 16. It ends up being close, but then the Sharks blow away with it, sort of like Parramatta the other day. And my God, he's been quiet lately. This is the week that Ronaldo Mulatalo gets the first try. Guys, those are my tips for the NRL round number 8. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Please let me know your tips in the comments. Like this video and check out the vlog as well. As I've said a few times this year, I'm not going to Magic Round, unfortunately. So I hope everyone has a great time at Magic Round next week. Everyone's obviously preparing for that now. But thanks for watching this video. Dolphins for the upset. I'll see you guys later.